That seems better.
Is it the speaker possibly?
Well, hey there, folks. Chuck here, and welcome to a special live edition of Diecast Breakdown, where we're not where we usually are. These guys exist in 3 dimensions. Who knew? And so we are live here from Diecast Supercon, checking out the scenery. It is an amazing event. We're on day 1 and already blown away by what we've seen. But I'm not going to talk about it alone. I am joined, as I often am, by my 2 co-hosts, Mr. David Johns of TWYCE Diecast. How you doing, David?
How do you think I'm doing, Chuck? Because I'm doing awesome.
You're doing fantastic. And Mr. Mark Berenson of DrivenDreams.org. Mark, how you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm with a great company. It's nice to finally meet Chuck in person.
We exist in physical space, guys. We can
We've only
reach out and
met
touch somebody
on the internet, and now we meet in person, so it's a great place to meet. Diecast Supercon.
Yeah, so 3 different time zones finally together in Mark's time zone. So Mark's feeling great. We're still figuring out where the heck we are. But we're glad that you're here with us, and everybody who's joining us. Of course, a special shout out to our executive producer level patrons that help make the show go. There's no graphics here, and I don't have my list in front of me, but you know who they are. There's some awesome people. I want to give a special shout out to Elevation Diecast Racing, who's our newest executive producer level sponsor. I know that much.
Thank you, Elevation.
So if you want to know how you can join their ranks, you can visit diecastbreakdown.com, where you can find our merch, you can find our social media, and a whole lot more, including a link to our Patreon, or you can click the little join button down below. And while you're down there looking at stuff, make sure you're hitting the subscribe, the like, all that good stuff. And if you think what we're doing is pretty cool, share it with a friend. That's a great way to help the show grow. It doesn't cost you anything, and you can always, if you're listening to us on the audio feed, rate us 5 stars on your favorite podcasting app. But today is, like I said, a little bit different, and we're feeling a little different. It's a very different vibe to the show, and we are thrilled to be here representing as the official influencers. Can you believe it? Don't tell anybody that, whatever. But we're here, and big shout out to Steve and CJ and the rest of the crew at Diecast Supercon for making this go, getting us here, and the amazing Ahern Hotel and Convention Center, who is hosting this event. Shout out to the sponsors, Jada, Cartooned, Ixo America, Diamond Protectors. There's a whole bunch of other ones. I'm sorry. We should really prepare more for this, guys. I don't know.
We are live, folks. This is how you know we're live.
It's going to be fun. So, but yeah. David.
All right, yeah.
Talk to me.
Chuck.
You've been here before. Tell me about your first time at Diecast Supercon and how it's changed from there to here.
Okay, so the show is 100% as expected, bigger than it was in the past, bigger than it's ever been. Mark will tell you that as well. We were here just 2 years ago, and it seems to be a whole different level, Mark, than what it was in 23. And it was awesome in 23.
Yeah, it's definitely grown a lot. The vendors have stepped their game up, I think, and just the companies, cartoons here, they got an incredible. We'll show their setup. It's incredible over there, Lewis over there, and we're just excited to be here because you meet new people every year, and you meet the faces behind the cars, the manufacturers, and all these guys are super nice guys and gals. And if you go to talk to them, they'll talk to you about cars all day long. So, and you're probably going to find some awesome cars you've never seen before, the ones you're chasing after that aren't on eBay or wherever you're looking. You'll find them with all these awesome vendors here, and there's cartoons, got a slot machine over there you can play and win some cool prizes, and they're giving away a lot of cool things.
That slot machine. I was just over there looking at their booth, and they've got some incredible designs lined up. So make sure you stick around because we're going to be sharing those on our YouTube Shorts, on our Instagram.
Check out our shorts.
Yeah, check out our shorts.
Yeah, make sure you're on Instagram.
Don't worry, they're clean.
Yeah, we're posting stuff on Instagram, and
shorts are always clean with these three.
Keep it family friendly here.
Yeah,
that's what we do. And it's really awesome. Exo America's here. They've got some really awesome Dodge Challengers that they're showing as their first initial casting release. People have been picking that up as they can, and that's been really awesome. See what else? Oh, Jada has some really cool stuff. They just did their official unveiling of the new majorette line that's true 164, which makes me happy. They have
really
lensed or jeweled headlamps. That makes David happy, and
100%.
They just make Mark happy in general.
Yeah, I mean, David got me hooked on majorettes years ago. I think your first one that you sent me was an R35.
Yeah.
And then I have, ever since then, I started picking those up, and then they're just really nicely done cars, and to pair with Jada is an incredible thing because it just, the two main, huge forces coming together just make a great, awesome car.
Yeah, and it's a really cool theme too. They've got this thing where they're going by decade, by year. So wave 1 is going to be 1955, 1965, 1975, 85, etc., up to 2005. So if you're looking for a 2015 Toyota Sienna, you're going to have to wait on that one, sorry.
Yeah.
But we got a 55 Chevy Bel Air coming out, 65 Ford Mustang GT350.
Yep.
Beautiful.
Awesome car.
It's in the white and blue livery, and there's also, I saw like a Hertz style black and gold livery. Let's see, 75 is a Porsche 930, I believe.
Yep.
And then we got 85, the iconic car of the 80s, the IROC Z. We got 95 is the Honda NSX. And 2005 is the Bugatti Veyron. I did that all from memory. How awesome is
that's
that?
impressive,
Chuck, we did post a short this morning. You're going to get some really clean,
Clean
just
shorts.
absolutely good looks at all 6 of those cars. Go look in the Diecast Media Network on our shorts. You'll find it. Just put it there this morning. Can't get any fresher than that, guys.
It's true.
Nothing better than fresh shorts.
Presses.
Yeah. Chuck could not say the same when he flew in,
I did have a mishap with my luggage. By the way, don't travel with liquids in your checked bags.
Protein shakes, to be exact.
A Chuck-tastrophe, if you will.
Yeah, Chuck-tastrophe.
Fortunately, I'm no stranger to doing my laundry in a sink, so we're back in business.
Back on TMI.
This has been
TMI Diecast.
TMI Talk with Chuck, David, and Mark. So, Mark, you're not alone on this trip. You're traveling with some very special guests.
Yep. I'm traveling with my beautiful wife, Kimber, and my soon-to-be 1-year-old on Sunday, my daughter, Amelia.
Yeah, she steals the show.
Yeah,
everywhere
she steals
goes.
the show, and I'm hoping to find her something really nice here for her first birthday.
There might be a car.
Yeah, so
Or
there might
two.
be a car with her name on it. I don't know. If you see any cars that say Amelia, let me know. But she loves diecast. I've got a box of them at home. She just peels them out and plays with them in the carts because they're a little bit too small for her, being 1 year old. But yeah, she loves cars and she loves bright things. So we'll see what I can find in here. I'll be looking through to find her something nice and on the bigger side that she can play with while she's here, keep her busy.
That's a good point, Mark. And I think one of the coolest things about being an adult collector and a father is being able to share your passion with your kids. My son Chet is 2 now, and he's already showing interest in the cars. Again, you got to be careful because his age is 3 and up, but he's admiring them in a safe and supervised way. David's son is also admiring them in a safe and supervised way, but he's a little older than 2.
David can't be trusted with cars either. You know, it's just, it doesn't really matter sometimes with age. It's, if you put the cars in your mouth, you may have a wheel pop off or something, so just be careful no matter what age you are.
It is what it is. You just got to own it. I think we collect to our comfort level.
Yeah, but you know, I think that's what, you know, David's got to keep cars in the cart so that they're safe to chew on and stuff like that.
I don't know if you guys can hear a little bit of background noise. They've got a Plinko game going on. This convention, guys, you can't be bored here. There's always something going
there's
on.
Like too much to do. Like you can't. There's so much going on that you're not gonna have time to check it out. All of it. You're gonna have to check the schedule out. It's behind us, and you're gonna have to go through and pick and choose what you want to go through because there's a lot to check out here, and it's there's only so much time. So.
All right, let's talk to Chuck now, Mark.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. First impression, 24 hours in.
Yeah, first time here.
Is it worth the hassle of getting here? Woo. And
with the
what are your
milkshakes.
expectations for the next 3 days?
Well, my expectations are high because I know that these folks put on a killer show. I've lived vicariously through my co-hosts going to this show in the past. Thrilled. I've had 2 false starts getting here, and we're finally here. We're finally all together.
Well, we're glad to have you, Chuck.
It's an incredible gathering. I'm loving the scope and the epicness of this. The hotel is beautiful. It's very well decorated. We've got all these famous faces around us from the car scene, big cars, small cars, you name it. And it's really cool and humbling to look around and see so many of these people have already been guests on our show.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll be seeing some of those familiar faces again.
And you guys already know a lot of the people that are pretty big names here because of the show, and that's pretty cool to be able to say.
Yeah, and a special shout out while we're thinking about it to the new folks who have found their way to our channel because you've heard about us for the first time here. That's okay. That's pretty normal. We have a small but very dedicated fan base, and for those who don't know, Diecast Breakdown is a podcast where we talk about the people doing amazing things, big things with tiny cars, as we say. It's kind of an oral history, kind of a news program where we sit down and talk to the people that make the stories behind the cars that we love. And we started doing this just over 3 years ago, and we got a little over 100 episodes under our belt, and it's been incredible, the response we've had from people being willing to show up on the show. I was just chatting with our friends over at Diecast Heroes Magazine, who were one of our first
Tony
guests.
and Carmen. Yep.
Yeah, Tony and Carmen were one of our first guests, and they helped us with getting networked with a bunch of people that really helped us establish some credibility, and it's just kind of gone from there. So we're grateful for them. They've been incredible supporters of the show, giving us free advertising. Another great partner, Castheads Magazine. We wish Nigel was here with us today. Has also given us
maybe
a lot
next
of
year. Maybe we can talk Nigel into coming next year.
It's worth the trip, Nigel.
Quick
I
trip
tell you
across the pond.
across the pond and over the desert. It's definitely worth the trip. And but yeah, I think I want to say it's a once in a lifetime thing, but it really shouldn't be. It should be something that is a multiple time of your life event, because there's always going to be something new. There's always going to be cool people to talk to, and we're loving it over here. It's just been fantastic to really connect with people and see more of the people that make the stuff that we love and collect, and get these special insider looks that you're not going to get anywhere else, and get to see things up close and personal. We had the privilege of being here a day early before the official kickoff, and we got the coolest bus tour I think I've ever had in my life. So Mark, starting with you, talk a little bit about how that started, and
Well, so we got a special tour. We went to the Toy Shack in Las Vegas, kind of the downtown area. I really haven't explored too much The last time we came here, we pretty much just stuck to the convention center, and then we went to dinner and stuff like that. So it was nice to get out and kind of get. Steve was giving us a tour and telling us, that's Elvis's house down the street, and kind of all the cool things. And we got to go to the toy shack and hear the story behind that. And a lot of people just they have dreams of starting something that they never thought they'd do, and he started that from having toys, and then or having a sign business, and then he started the toy shack. So because that's was his major hobby, and then we made our way to, I think right after that we went to BRE. Correct?
That guy, you seem to have a little bit of background with it.
Yeah, so then we got that was, of course, I'm wearing the shirt and everything, if you guys can see.
There it is.
I had him sign the back of my sweatshirt, and it's probably, I'm never going to wash it. But BRE, so what BRE is a lot of you guys know, big fans of Datsun 510s. BRE, you guys have all seen it, red, white, and blue, little Datsun 510s. You got Z's and everything too, but the story behind that is so much more than just BRE. It's Brock Racing Enterprises. It's Peter Brock. He's also the designer of the split window Corvette, the Daytona,
the Shelby Daytona.
The Shelby Daytona, and so many more things. He's still at 80 something. I don't know his exact age, but at his age, he's still designing.
So getting after it.
Yeah. So he's still designing, still doing the clay models, or
trailer,
3D printing. So he's incorporating the new technology into his stuff. But he'll be here Saturday, so we'll be able to maybe get him on here. We're going to try. And it was just amazing seeing having them welcome all of us into their facility and show us around. We were able to buy some of their stuff. I've been to their website before. I've bought a few things from them, but people really loaded up and took the opportunity to buy some stuff from Peter and have him graciously sign things like they're back, like me. And we had some Kaido House stuff, and I bought, David bought one too, I think. Did you get one?
I didn't get a Kaido House. I already have a Kaido House BRE, so I decided I'd pick up one. I've never been so excited to buy a trailer model in my life, but
tell us a little bit about the trailer.
So the trailer is called the Aero Vault. It was really cool. They were talking about how Peter and Gail were talking about how they wanted to buy a trailer to carry their cars around, and Peter got frustrated because, in his words, why doesn't any trailer designer know how to make something aerodynamic? And so he went out and, using his old school clay and stuff, built a 1/4 scale version of what would become the Aero Vault's trailer. And it's a very cool, look it up on Google. We'll post some pictures of it.
Yeah.
Greenlight decided to immortalize the Aero Vault in 1/64 scale, and they did a great job on it. And
yeah, how cool is that? Greenlight, shout out to Greenlight for doing that. And
right?
A trailer, because every diecast company has their own thing.
Sure.
But Greenlight does a really good job at bringing us the obscure stuff, like tractors, trailers, all kinds of stuff that you can, put onto your display, and make your own cool stuff.
Well, and you know me, I love a good car transport of any kind, and so
that's
I was able to pick one of those up for very reasonable prices. It was only $10, and Peter was more than happy to sign it for me, and he was very kind.
Weren't you going to have him sign your face?
I was, but then I decided I probably do need to wash my face.
Yeah, you can always get a tattoo right over it, though.
Yeah.
Kind of a Mike Tyson thing.
Hey, and leave a comment if this video gets 5 likes. Chuck will get a face tattoo.
Just 5. That's it.
Okay.
5 likes, 5 comments.
Or shave his head.
5.
It's kind of your choice, fans. Pick it. Shave Chuck's head. I'm kidding. Part of that.
Is that what was in that waiver I signed?
That was in the waiver.
Oh, all right.
So,
One
Mark
in
and
Vegas.
Chuck are talking about the VIP tour that Steve and House of Cars were so gracious to allow us to come along. And we got a lot of footage of stuff that most people are not going to get to see. And I'm really excited of being able to share that in the very near future. We did BRE. Where did we go after that? We went to Atomic Motors. Crazy complex with 5 acres of cars.
Inside.
Under different roofs.
Yeah.
Very nice spread. They fed us.
Walked us
really
around.
cool.
Just
Gave a
some
walking tour of
Yeah.
the facility. Finished it up with a stop at the House of Cards here in Vegas. Had a little goodie bag for all of us. Really nice. Everything, guys. Everything. If you're considering the VIP tour here at Diecast Supercon, everything is top notch. You'll get your money's worth. It's an investment. It's worth it. You're going to get some really cool stuff, and first crack at a lot of stuff nobody else is going to get to see.
Yeah, you're going to get a tour of the places that you may have never gotten a tour at. Like, for example, BRE. Like it's not easy to get a tour of BRE or to get autographs from Peter Brock. It's kind of a tricky thing, and he doesn't. I don't think he travels as much as he used to, and so it was a treat being able to pull up in a big bus and get off and get a run through at that.
I think that's the thing. I think that's the thing with these conventions, guys, is the accessibility to the people that you already follow and you love their work, you love their art, you love their cards that they fabricate, whatever. They're here. The guys that put on the convention, they know all these people, and they allow us to get to know them as well. We've got a lot of people lined up for future shows. We got somebody coming up in 5 minutes that you guys, you all know his work already. And if he's here on time, you're going to enjoy getting to hear from Michael Geralda, legendary Matchbox designer. And that's just the start of a lot of incredible
we just
content.
picked up, I think all three of us picked up one of his cars.
Yeah.
Neverland
We're all
collab.
getting Geralda autographs when he gets here. That's a guarantee. That's part of the cool thing about this for me.
Yeah, you get to meet these people in person.
Yeah. I'm not going to go and sell this stuff. This is the stuff that will be in my collection forever.
Yeah, no, this is the kind of place you want to buy stuff and not sell it. I mean, granted, sometimes you got to sell things, but for the most part, for me, it's gonna be a quality, not quantity thing. Yeah, so I'm not gonna buy a ton of stuff here, but I'm gonna look around. I'm gonna really, I'm not gonna try to break the bank the first couple days. You got to pace yourself. There's the man of the hour right there.
Oh, let's get this man a waiver and get him up on the stage. Guys, Chuck, you want to do that?
Yeah, I'll do
okay.
it.
Chuck is going to take care of some housekeeping, and then we will get.
We're gonna have Michael sign a waiver here to climb this ladder. I can give you a boost up. I'm strong.
All right, Mark. So while they're doing that, as a Datsun owner, go a little bit deeper on how cool it was to be at BRE.
BRE was great because I got the pleasure of chatting with Peter Brock and his wife Gail about 6 or 7 or 8 years ago at a Canby Datsun meet down in Oregon, and that was the last one that they ever threw. So it was kind of really special because they stopped putting those events together because it got a little too tough for the crew to do. So I've recently kind of started my own Datsun thing, and I'd like to get him up here, but it's hard to say. We'll try.
Yeah.
But it was just nice seeing him again in person. It'll be nice to see him here Saturday because when you're kind of going through their place, you kind of get your autographs, and kind of keep the line moving. So you don't have a lot of time to chat with Peter or Gail. But it was just really nice to be able to see how they have everything laid out in their facility. And it would be awesome to be able to go back for sure on the time where it's a little less busy.
Tell me, somebody that's not as hardcore as you, the amount of automotive history that's in a place like that.
There's a ton of history in a place like BRE, and to go there and to look up on their wall, they have kind of everything in order of years. And the thing I really like about Peter Brock is that he's really a humble dude, like the most humble. Yeah. And
we all helped him find his dog last night.
Yeah, we helped him find his Shiba. It got out, kind of got a little overwhelmed with the amount of people that are coming in. But he's a super humble dude, and he gives me a lot of inspiration to go do what I want to do because there's been so many things the way that he started out is is he went to the School of Design in California. I forget the exact name, but he walked in as a young kid. I don't think he was just maybe out of high school, and he said, "I want to go here." And he's like, "Sign me up." And they said, "Well, that's not really how it works.
Yeah.
You have to get approved. You have to be worked here for 5 years or 10 years or whatever." And he said, "No, I want to go here." And they said, "Well, do you have a portfolio?" And he said, "What's a portfolio?" And they said, your sketches, your drawings, all that stuff. And so he's like, hold on. He went out to his car and he redrew everything, and he just started drawing some of his things from scratch. And then he pretty much just was a pest to him, and snuck in and sat in on one of the classes, and just they noticed that this kid at the time really wasn't going to be stopped to do what he wanted to do. And to hear those kind of stories a few years ago was amazing, because it just kind of helped you realize like all that this guy has done over the years, and he hasn't taken no for an answer, and nothing can really stop him.
Speaking of
really
stopping, what about this stopping point? Michael Geralda joining the
Michael
show.
Geralda.
Live. Mike,
Yeah, good to see you in person.
I'm gonna slide over. We're gonna give you the seat of honor here.
All right, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I'm gonna
And-
send you yours because we just didn't have time, but I'm gonna send it to you
Have a seat,
in the
Mike.
mail.
We are live.
Yeah,
I
we
know
are
that's
live.
always fun. Walking onto a hot stage. That's we
Hey,
all
don't
got one of
don't-
those.
It doesn't have my signature
Don't
yet.
I
break
know.
it. Don't scratch it. That's worth the.
See if we can
Priceless.
give that a mic check real
Yeah,
quick, and
check
we will
that
get
out.
going.
Hello.
There
this
you
is
go.
Michael Geralda.
All right, I'm gonna show off
Design.
Michael's shirt here real quick, if that's okay,
Yep.
to everybody. This is 64 Continental Roadster. Super cool shirt. I'm gonna wear this later on,
That's my
but
all-time
I'm gonna go work out in it.
Yeah.
No, I won't. No, this is a big body. This is a car that if you get in an accident, you're gonna be okay.
Why is that car on that shirt?
People always ask me, what's your favorite car?
Yeah.
And if I had an unlimited amount of money, I would buy the 1964 Lincoln Continental convertible
Yeah.
with the suicide doors. It is just such a beautifully designed
And what
vehicle.
color? Black, of course.
I'm gonna
or-
go
Gotta be black.
Well,
'Cause everybody does
I live
black.
down a dirt road.
Yeah. So black's gonna
black-
be tough to maintain.
But there's a nice blue. As a matter of fact, there's a television series, the Lincoln Lawyer.
Yep.
Oh, yeah,
And
Lincoln
he's
Lawyer,
got, not the 64, but he's got a Lincoln convertible.
Deep navy, right? Or is that black?
No, it's a lighter blue.
Yeah.
But it is so beautiful. And every time I see one of those, it's just sculptural art.
Yeah. Well, me being a detailer paint correction specialist, I know the dark colors are tough, but I keep telling myself I'm not going to buy a black car, but I always do. But now I'm trying to wean towards. I've got some white cars, so I'm trying to wean my whole collection to white vehicles. Because I like white cars, but do they look as good as a candy paint, like a dark color? No. And
You know what's funny about white cars is that when I was working on Hot Wheels and Matchbox, and when I drive around, I see a lot of white cars.
Yeah.
And so I would pick white bodies for some certain designs, and then management would come and say, you know what, white is not a good color. It needs to be bright.
It needs to pop. Yeah.
needs to pop. And I go, but
body
if we're going
lines.
for realism, just take a look at what's on the freeway. There's a lot of white cars.
Yeah.
So every now and then we get a white car.
Yeah, but it's probably far and few between the white cars. Yeah. And they want the reds and yellows. And, I mean, I get it.
All right. So we've had Mike on the show in the past, and I know everybody probably already knows this, but in case there's one person who hasn't figured it out yet, or their memory hadn't been jogged, give us a little bit of bio. What is a life or a career in diecast? What does it look like for you to get to where we're at here today?
I was very fortunate. I've always landed jobs that turn out to be the best job I ever had. Everyone is always better than the previous one.
Can't beat that.
And I moved into Hot Wheels in 1997, so my design started in 1998. And the first model that came out was the Ford Escort Rally. And if you have that model,
That's a great car.
you'll
by the way.
notice that it's more than 2 tampo hits on that.
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple of spray masks,
Oh, yeah.
it was a lot of fun to do that, but because it was my very first design, I also wanted to put my name somehow in it, and I did, but to be sure that it would be good for the team and for upper management, I also put the name of my supervisor, Gary Swisher.
Yep, that's a
Never,
get out
never
of jail
a bad
free pass.
strategy.
And when I showed him the e-sheet design, he just said, wow. He goes, I've been working in the Hot Wheels group, and they've never put my name on a product, so this is special.
Yep.
So it got through.
Well, you're a smart man because
And so I worked in Hot Wheels from 97 until 2004, and in 2004 I moved over to Matchbox and stayed at Matchbox until 2015. But in the course of that time, I did over 5,000 decorations. And at that time, I held the record. Actually, because I was the first in-house graphic designer for Hot Wheels.
yeah.
But it was last year or the year before, another graphic designer in Hot Wheels finally caught up to me.
Oh wow.
He celebrated his
Overachiever.
5,000th design.
Oh wow.
But I'm still working for Matchbox, so maybe I'm closer to 6,000 now.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
need
catch
a
up.
recount.
So, Michael, what was it like the jump from like 2004? You said 2004, you jumped over from Hot Wheels to Matchbox. And a lot of us, like myself, 2004 for Hot Wheels was a really good time to collect. And that's some of my favorite cars, especially when it comes to 510s,
Oh, yeah.
Datsuns. What was it like? What was the transfer like? Was it night and day difference in designing and just the team? Or was it kind of, because it was kind of integrated, was it, kind of a really smooth transition?
There is a difference between both brands, and when I was asked to be part of the Matchbox team, prior to that, the Matchbox team was in Mount Laurel, and they were going to shut down that facility, and they wanted to bring everything to El Segundo, where Hot Wheels and Mattel was.
Yeah.
And so I was part of that transition team that had to go to Mount Laurel, meet the designers there, and figure out what they were doing, and then bring Matchbox to California. And so when they first told me I was going to be part of the Matchbox team, my wife and I went to a couple retail stores just to look, what is Matchbox? Because up until that time, I've been involved with Hot Wheels.
Yeah, you hadn't paid much attention
Yeah,
to
and
it.
I went to the events, the conventions, and so I knew what the Hot Wheels collectors liked.
Yeah.
But I didn't know what Matchbox collectors liked. So I looked online and found a convention in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
And I've always loved New Mexico, so I tell my wife, I want to
Vacation.
meet this guy who's putting on this convention, and let's go. And it's New Mexico.
Conventions.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we actually took the train from Los Angeles to Albuquerque,
Oh, nice.
which was a fun trip. And so I got to meet Jim Gallegos, the host of that event. And this year is his 23rd year of hosting the Matchbox convention.
That's a long time.
So moving over to Matchbox, what I realized looking at what was available is that Matchbox, they were doing some kind of funky stuff. They had these cartoon creature cars.
Yeah.
And so after my wife looked at a couple of stores and saw what was out there, I said, man, this is a great opportunity because we can really
Change
We-
some things up.
It was a
Yeah.
small team.
Yeah.
It was just one marketing guy, the design director, Felix Holst, one engineer, and myself. So like a four-guy team. And I thought we can really turn this brand around. And so we decided to re-identify, figure out what the DNA of Matchbox should be. And
What the people want, essentially. Like,
yeah.
what,
and
what
when I
could be
went
a
to
good
Jim's
change?
event, I created a questionnaire, a sheet of about 20 questions.
Okay.
What do you collect? What do you like? What don't you like? What would you like to see? What issues do you have in finding the models you want? And all these collectors I met at his event, they were so friendly. They all
Yeah.
filled out these forms.
And they're very vocal, right? Diecast collectors are very
Yeah.
vocal about what
Oh,
they
yeah,
want, what they don't want.
Yeah. And so I took all that information back to work. I made a presentation and shared it with the small team and said, really, the number one priority is realism. That's what they want.
Yeah.
And so we decided that's going to be the identity moving forward. And so 2005.
Was that coming out of the Hero City era?
Yes. Yeah.
So you kind of changed the direction.
Yes.
Hey,
It was heading down one way.
thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
Yeah. So 2005 and 2006, really became the golden age of Matchbox.
Absolutely.
Because by 2006, Matchbox was the fastest growing brand at Mattel.
Yeah.
You know, it was a small company, but the growth, the sales just took off.
Yeah.
You know, so that was great recognition for that whole thing of changing direction.
That's a good feeling to have, I'm
Yeah,
sure.
to be part of that. Yeah, and I think that's what I first saw when I saw the Hero City stuff. I said, this needs to go away.
Need to
They're not
need to
dealing
shift.
They're not dealing with the collectors that I met.
Sure.
You know, and for me, collectors are really the backbone of the brand, because they're the ones, not only are they buying the product and collecting the product, but they're promoting it
Yeah.
for free.
For free.
Yeah.
You know, and when you think about how much money big corporations spend on marketing,
Oh, yeah,
advertising,
millions,
and then you say, these guys are doing it for free, we need to give them what they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're going to spread the word.
Yeah, or they're just going to stop buying it,
Yeah.
and then you're going to see the sales plummet, and they're going to be like, what are we doing wrong?
And that's the way it should be. You know, if a manufacturer's making something nobody wants, you shouldn't buy it, so that they get the message, hey, we got to change directions, because either we're going to go out of business. So what do they want?
Yeah, I think it's important. I think there's a lot of great manufacturers just here that are taking those kind of questions and taking that kind of advice, because we've got, you know, some new brands here. We got IXO over here that they're taking the advice of what people want, and they're giving them the detail they want, and they're going to be something different than the other brand. They're not the same.
We call it the
So-
Geralda effect.
The Geralda effect.
The Geralda Halo.
Yeah.
I'm infamous now.
So yeah, it's fun to come to these places, these conventions, and just chat with these people. Maybe you've collected some of their other stuff, their trucks or some of the other things they have. Now they're branching off and doing. They've got their Challenger convention car, which is amazing, by the way. Great job by Clint over there. He's not listening.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun to meet these people in person, and we've interviewed you, Michael, online, and we get to meet you here in person, and it's a treat.
Yeah.
So thank you again for coming on and joining us.
All right.
But,
I'm getting the hook
but
now,
yeah,
right?
we're nowhere
that?
near.
I'm
We're
getting
nowhere.
the hook.
No.
We're nowhere near done with Geralda.
No.
You're here as somebody that has done a collaboration for the show, and we want to
Yes.
hear about some of the models that people can get here at the Diecast Supercon that have your DNA on them. Or
Yes.
your,
Yeah.
your,
Yeah, well, tomorrow is the official drop. Are you guys going to be doing that?
absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll be
all right.
we'll be there.
We're going to be part of it in some way.
Yeah.
They
Yeah,
haven't exactly
so-
told us how yet, but yeah.
Yeah, so, CJ asked me to design, a deco for this event. And looking at what I've seen previous events here and what other people have done for the event, what I noticed that there weren't any hero-themed models, firemen, and especially in California because of those recent
Yeah,
fires.
sure.
I mean,
Very timely.
firefighters got a lot of exposure, not only to the fumes and stuff, but I mean, on television, social media, the work that they were doing. I thought, we should do something. I should do something that's themed and for firefighters.
Yeah.
And so that became the theme for the 4-car series that's going to be dropped tomorrow. But I wanted them to be bright and shiny.
Yeah.
So when I talked to the customizer, Wong Booty in Singapore, I told him I want the hydrochrome bodies with color tints. And he said, yeah, we can do that. And so the 4 models are different. I think one of the models, the black chrome version, if I recall correctly from the early conversations, that was a pre-order online model only.
Okay. So
And
can't get it here.
I don't know if it's sold out. I don't know if they have them here. I haven't seen the models here
Did
yet.
you say what car it is yet?
Oh, it's the Nissan Skyline.
Yeah, you might have heard of it. Kind of popular.
It's a popular model
The
for sure.
R30
It's the R34, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
the R34, yeah.
And,
R34 GDR.
and I did it last year for the Aztec theme series.
Yeah,
that did.
I think we ran into one of those for sale
Yeah,
over here
yeah.
last night.
They wanted $25,000.
No
Not-
way.
No, they did. Yeah, it was somewhere in between
Somewhere in
75
Between 75
and
and 25,000.
25,000.
75.
Yeah, it was
Well,
75.
If you got the money and can afford it, go for it.
Get it.
Yeah.
Get it.
But yeah, so those are fun. Oh, And the packaging art was done by my good friend over here, Lee Allen. And I worked with him for a number of years on different projects. He's an amazing, amazing artist. His whole family are artists.
Yeah.
So I was glad he was part of it. We were a little bit concerned the models wouldn't get here in time. I got my samples to review the day before I left. And I had been tracking them, online. They came to Albuquerque.
Where were they coming? They were coming from Singapore.
Singapore.
And they how did they come? Like what transit? Like was it like DHL or like?
Oh, here's the thing. He didn't send them to me, which was unusual because
Okay.
he was supposed to send them to me to review and approve. He sent them to Lee Allen.
Okay.
And so I got an email from Lee. Hey, guess what arrived?
You're like I want to see him. Send him to me.
And I said, that's odd. You should have sent him to me because I explained all that in our communication. So then I said, what about the rest of the samples? And he goes, no, he just sent 4 models. So then I contacted him and said, so where are the rest of the samples? He goes, oh, I just wanted you to see them and approve them. I go, approve? Are you going to get them here in time? Oh, yeah, they'll be here in time. So I wasn't tracking them because they were going to Lee and not me, which was odd.
So you were just praying you'd get him.
But I had 2 other manufacturers sending me samples that I was tracking, green light samples.
Okay.
I was tracking them, and they're in the eastern part of the U.S. And so I was tracking them. They came all the way to Albuquerque, and then from there they went to Farmington, which is almost 200 miles away from where I live. That's why I said, oh man, they're not going to get here in time. So I contacted USPS and said, hey, I've been tracking this for almost a week now. How come you're in Albuquerque? I live next door. What happened? And they said, well, I think I got on the wrong truck.
Yeah, the good old gets on.
So then he said, so anyways, I'm putting in the info. It's going to ship. It'll get to you on the 19th. And I'm thinking, we're leaving on the 19th. I thought, no, I'm not going to have a sample. But they arrived on the 18th. And then there was another set of samples from Malaysia that also arrived the day before we came over here. And
That's
it's
close.
It's part of my Adler 58 race team. I did the Datsun. The Datsun 510 was the first race team model.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so
And
the
what
second,
year was that, roughly?
What year did it come out?
No, what was the first the 510 that you did? When was that?
That was the. It's also the same model, the Skyline.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Oh no, it's a 510.
Yeah.
Is it a Skyline?
No. They had the Hako, right? They have the older 71 Skyline, but the 510s are the little boxy guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that came out beautiful. They sold out right away.
That was
Oh,
with
of course.
the tricky black on it.
Yes, it's black chrome.
Amazing black.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's. And what's funny is, there's a commercial right now. I forget what model it is, but they're black and red. The red roof, just like my Adler
Yeah.
race team, the black body.
Yeah.
Somebody was spying on your work and going, I like that.
No, because they were like
Yeah.
a year and a half in advance. But I thought that was funny. But anyways, March 1st, the second Adler race team model drops, Malaysia Hobby Shop, and that's the VW drag bus.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's
Always a
and
popular
I got the sample just the day before we came here, and it's beautiful. But it's very low quantities, only 50, and I think only 10 chase models.
So you're going to have like active designs in quite a few brands at the same time because you got your green light stuff going on too, right?
Pick that van up real quick.
Yeah, we got one of his vans here, just Neverland
I don't know how
collab.
well, and I don't know if I can run up and show this in front of the camera, but Chuck, what does that give you? This has got Chuck Ellis written all over it.
Well, I was thrilled, and Michael was telling me a funny story about why we were able to get these, because these were marked down to $25. They don't come with, originally they would come as a special box and a special coin, like an NFT type thing, but these ones did not come with that. And first of all, I love that there's an Adler design that looks just like the Monkeys logo. As a Monkeys fan, I was tickled by that.
That's right.
I'm also a big van guy, so I love that this is the GMC Vandura casting and
License
the
plate.
Paisley, the license plate. I love the little touches like the New Mexico license plate. I haven't even gotten really
Does
close
it
to
say
it.
Land of Enchantment on it?
If you go
if
real
you zoom
close,
in,
I
Remember,
don't
that
know.
was a while ago.
It's
I'm old.
HPY van, but very cool. Love the smiley face on the top of it. David got the pink one. I got the aqua blue one.
Doesn't one of them say "Have a nice day" on it?
I think so.
It
Yeah, I
does.
think
Yeah, it
the,
says it right across the top. They both say "Have a nice
Oh,
day"
yeah,
on
have a
the,
nice
the
day.
visor there. So, so this was a Neverland collaboration. So you got Neverland. Well, this is a little while ago, but you're still working with those guys, I believe, right?
We don't have anything planned right
Not
now.
yet. Okay, okay. But you got.
In between projects.
Are you doing any announcements about the green light cars that you got coming, or is that already kind of cat's out of the bag there?
All that I know about the green light is that they're going to hit retail the second quarter, which I think starts in April.
Yeah.
So I know people are doing pre-orders. I've heard that.
I've seen it several places. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's good. There's going to be one change on the Monte Carlo because I changed last minute changes on the wheels. I wanted them to be the multi-spoke wheels, like on the other two models. I think it just will fit better.
Sure.
So that could be the only change. We'll see if they actually make the change.
Yeah. So that's the 70 Monte Carlo. I believe the 73 Thunderbird is one of them. That's
Yes.
the one with the really cool mural on the back. The
Right.
Virgin Mary mural on the back of it, I believe.
Yeah, I was a bit concerned when I did that design. I knew I wanted to use the Viden as the imagery because that is an iconic image in lowrider culture.
Sure.
Mexican culture. And so I thought it would be perfect, for this. But I wasn't sure how a company like Greenlight would react to having a religious, icon. And so I contacted him and said, this is what, I'd like to do and the reasons why I'd like to do it, and I hope you're okay with this. And I got a response about a week later, said, we discussed it and we realized, what, it is a big part of Mexican heritage. It's a big part of lowrider culture. So yeah, we're going to do it.
Awesome.
I said, great.
Yeah,
And then they asked
that's
me,
amazing.
because originally it was going to be a 6-car lowrider series. And I was going to do 3 designs, and then their in-house graphic designer was going to do 3 designs, and it was going to be sold as a series. But a few months after we signed the contract, they contacted me and said, we kind of changed our directions. We're going to offer them individually as a special edition model designed by you. We want to use your Adler 58 logo. Can you send that to us? We also want a portrait. And so I was thinking, what kind of portrait should I send? And I was on a short trip to Las Cruces, New Mexico, with Jim and his wife and my wife, and we found this really cool 60-foot metal sculpture in the middle of the desert. And so we parked, ran up to it, and we're checking it out, and we took photos, and I took a photo of myself wearing sunglasses. And I thought, this is going to be a good portrait. And I stripped in UFOs as reflections in the sunglasses.
Nice.
And I'm thinking, I wonder if they're going to notice.
Did anybody notice?
Nobody noticed. I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't seen the packaging design. But I thought, that's New Mexico.
funny.
They got UFOs.
Love it. And you've been notorious for putting Easter eggs in your stuff for years. I mean, I'm thinking of like the airplane with the tiny 1-point font print on it. That is such a fun story about the one young man that finally decoded it and sent you the letter. It's in our interview with Michael. But what are some of the other? Do you have any other Easter eggs or any special design things that you started? Because you started with Easter eggs from Design 1 with your Ford Escort.
Yeah. And I think that goes back to the design philosophy that I have. It's a toy.
Yeah.
It has to be fun.
Yeah.
You have to
Wait,
engage.
What?
These are toys.
These are toys?
This is serious.
People
business.
open these boxes?
It's a toy.
Yeah.
And the
That's
goal
true.
is to engage the end user. When you see something, and it doesn't matter what it is, it could be furniture, it could be clothing. You go to a place and you're drawn to something because something about it appeals to you. And you buy it, and then you wear it, and now it's part of your image. You feel a certain
Sure.
way when you wear it. Every time, you wash it and hang it up, you're connected to it again. So it's a continual engagement.
Yeah.
And for me, hiding things in the deco, putting some funny, phrase or a code is part of that engagement. You buy it because, I've always wanted this model. And that's a code graphic. You take it home, If you're a kid at heart, you'll take it out of the package. You know, you'll
Yeah.
look at it closer. Oh, what is this? And then
You start
it
really
engaged
looking
you
into it.
again.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, for many years, I used to tell people it was the onion effect. You know, you have an onion. If you're going to cook it, you're going to take off the outer wrapper, you cut it, and you see all these layers. And you dice it and cut it, changes shape. But you're engaged with that onion as you're preparing. And you see all these different aspects of it in the process. So that's part of the design philosophy that I really enjoy, you know, using in my work.
So
and
you
it
get-
doesn't even matter. It could be music, it could be, you know, other forms
Yeah,
of
any
art.
kind of artwork. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get multiple new experiences
Right.
with the same thing. That's really ingenious. I like that.
Yeah, and I believe like every artist, you know, no matter what your medium, dance, poetry, you know, writing, acting, you're a storyteller. That's
Yeah.
your job. You're a story. You interpret what you've experienced and you create
And
something.
it's different than anybody else's.
Yeah, and you are a storyteller. So tell stories.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about some of I appreciate your customs and everything, your artwork, because I think everyone is here to buy some artwork on these cars. It's not generally, we were just talking about white and black cars, you know. Generally, that's not the first place I go to. I might like a white car or black car in real life if I'm going to buy something, but when I come here and I see Spectraflame pink,
Or that van.
yeah, or that van.
I'm not buying a plain white
yeah,
Creeper
there's
van.
yeah, I'm gonna pick. I mean, I looked at all. There was, I think, how many variations? There was like 3 or so when we of the van.
Of the van, yeah.
Yeah, there's
two or three.
Two or three
at
different
least
versions.
Two. Yeah.
And I was kind of bouncing back and forth between the pink one, like the pink and teal kind of
Sure,
one,
sure.
and then there was a black one. I think black and gray.
I think
or-
that was the Nuclear Minds one.
Yeah, maybe. But it's, you know, I just, everybody gravitates to colors and design, you know, because it's visually pleasing. And you just pick what's most visually pleasing to your eye.
Well, sure.
It's
and-
going to be completely different than
Yeah.
what Chuck wants to buy.
Exactly, and you've got the beauty of these cars is, again, you get to kind of vicariously enjoy the design of a car done in a really clever way, in a way that you couldn't possibly either afford or be able to maintain or whatever, because these are, you know,
They're tiny cars.
they're tiny cars, and you've got this, you know, as someone who has owned and maintained older cars, they are a lot of work, and
Yeah.
so it's really nice to be like, well, I like the GMC Vandura van, but I don't really want to go buy one and own one, and then I certainly don't want to go through the trouble of all this. And here, Michael Geralda has designed this really nice little statement piece that I can look at and feel happy and enjoy the design of it, and his design and his storytelling through there. And I you know, it's getting to where I can almost sometimes pick out, oh, that looks like a Michael Geralda design. If I see
Yeah,
something that's
and that's important to be able to pick people out. That's when you know they're doing something right, because
Yeah.
everybody has their own style. If it's just, you're like, I don't know who did that, then it's like, you know, they need to do something a little bit different, because everybody has to have their own style. You
Sure,
know?
sure. Yeah, and so, Michael, we've talked to you about this before, but you know, as somebody who kind of sort of retired but never really did, you know, you're so active now, and you've got not just the designs on the cars coming, but you're really involved with the events too. So we talked while I was gone. Did you guys talk at all about the upcoming event, the Matchbox event?
A little bit.
Okay, good. Okay. Well, we won't talk about that again
Well,
then.
he just mentioned that's kind of where you met Jim at the gathering.
This was in 2004.
Yeah, well,
2004, I met Jim.
Okay, so
And then
talk about what you've been up to with that convention.
yeah, so I liked his event because it was different than Hot Wheels. It was a different type of collectors. And it's almost like I just wanted to be more involved. And so I designed the logos for his event since 2004 up until current. And I've designed all the decos for his convention models. Last year, my wife and I, we hosted a bingo game, a charity bingo game that it sold out really fast.
Who
and
doesn't-
it
who
was a
doesn't
lot
love
of fun.
bingo?
But you know, as usual, I tried to promote my work as much as possible. So every image was one of my designs, and we had great prizes. We had a custom car made, you know, for the bingo players. So everybody got a unique vehicle.
Everybody got it, or just
Everybody
like, okay.
got one. that because it was a charity event, so all the money was donated. And then the winners got a signed e-sheet and a certificate, and then there was a drawing from the winners, and they got the previous year's convention model.
Okay.
So we're going to do it again this year, but instead of having one night of bingo games, we're going to have one night and then the next day, because a lot of people didn't get a chance to play.
Sure.
Because they showed up, late, or they showed
Yeah,
up the next day for
yeah.
the convention. So we're going to have 2 days of the bingo event. And again, it goes to this charity, Altamira. It's a charity organization that helps families and children in need.
I like
They're
that.
in New Mexico. A really wonderful group. So.
Yeah, so it's for a good cause. So you got to do it.
And even the auction on Saturday night, all the proceeds from that event go to the same charity.
Awesome.
So it's a good event.
Awesome.
Oh, one thing I want, because you asked me about the differences between Hot Wheels and Matchbox.
Yeah, just like, and maybe just what your perception is of the collector too, between the two. Because we all know that Hot Wheels people like the wild stuff, and
Right.
that Matchbox likes the OEM stuff. But there's probably some in between too.
Oh, there are. But at Jim's event, yeah, I mean, it's featured as a Matchbox convention, but there's Hot Wheels, and then there's other brands there, and you have a few customizers, not many, not like this. This is probably primarily customizers. We got a lot of them here. I mean, more than you would see at a Hot Wheels convention.
Oh, for sure.
Although they do have the competition,
Yeah.
and I think that's going to go on here as well.
Yep. There's competition.
But one of the major differences for me as a graphic designer between Hot Wheels and Matchbox is they told me no flames. And I loved drawing flames.
sure.
And I learned a lot from Larry Wood
Yeah.
because he was a designer when I was there. And so for me, he would come and give me a stack of sketches and say, here's the sketches, do your magic, turn it into art for production. And so, I got familiar with his flames, and I really enjoyed doing flames. But I said,
Got
"No."
really good at flames.
Yeah,
For sure.
and even Jim Gallegos, and you'll meet him.
Yeah.
He, when I first met him, he told me, I can recognize your flames on Hot Wheels cars. I go, really? And he goes, yeah, you have a style that's different from the other designers and their flames. So that was like a good, compliment.
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
for sure.
But
That's
then going to Matchbox, no flames.
You're like,
Yeah.
Although
Branding.
I tried to sneak them in a few times.
got
And
shut
I
down.
think maybe once they got through.
Did you say it ain't the same without the flame?
What's that?
Did you ever say it ain't the same without the flame?
No. I don't
Good.
remember
Good.
that.
Yeah.
But I tried to sneak in some flames recently, last year, on a hot rod, a 34 hot rod that Matchbox is doing, and did the artwork, sent it in, and then I didn't, months go by, and I figured it's going to be coming out soon. It'll show up at retail, and then the same car showed up with a different deco. And so I contacted Matchbox, my contact, and said, what happened to my deco? Why did it get changed? And they said, oh, no flames. And I said, but it's perfect.
Fits the car. It
because
fits the
that
actual
car, guys would put flames on
Yeah.
them.
Sure.
So it is real.
Yeah.
And he said, no, they said no flames on Matchbox.
So they're pretty strict. They've got a pretty strict.
Is that the green
no
one that
flames.
just came out?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just picked up a couple of those, and it's got kind of a stripy thing that's sort of like zigzag thing on
Oh
the front
yeah,
of
yeah.
it. but
So they
it's-
changed it
Yeah.
to something like. Back
I mean,
and forth,
it's a good design. I like it.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
I was upset because I didn't get that car with the flames. So then at last year's Matchbox event, Abe Lugo, he's my contact at Matchbox. He says, I got something for you. And I said, what is it? Actually, it was last year here because he was inducted into the Hall of
Okay.
Fame.
Yeah.
He goes, I got something for you. I go, what is it? And he reaches in his pocket and he pulls it out. It was a FEP with my flames on it.
Oh, nice.
Oh, nice.
And he goes, there's only a couple of these. And so he gave it to me. And
So you got your flames.
so I got it. So then we flew here. So when we were leaving at the airport, there was a company that makes these poker chips out of metal.
Okay.
and you could put a design on it.
Sure.
So I said, oh my goodness. So I get my phone out, I take a picture of the car because I had it with me. I take a picture of the car, and then I emailed it to the guy making the poker chips. And so he put the car in the poker chip with a tagline that says, one of the models you cannot buy.
Nice.
Nice.
And on the other side, I put my Heraldorado, the image, because I had that on my phone too. So
Sure.
and it said the same thing. Another car you cannot buy.
Yeah. Only here.
Yeah. So
Well, here, ours aren't metal, but they are good. If you go to any casino here,
really,
you can get thrown out if you try to use that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You.
But we did
you
have
try to
those
cash
made
that
It's
in.
a great way to get asked to leave. So,
Yeah, if you want to go and you want to go with style,
And you haven't had a
thrown
black eye in a while,
cash it
or a
in.
punch in the stomach.
well, thank you. I appreciate this. This is going in my special display case.
Well,
I
we
appreciate
don't
that.
we don't ever ask guests to come on without properly compensating, and that's worth nothing. And that's typically what we pay. So
this wonderful man
That's
gave
like
us
the
all
Best Buy
shirts
convention.
and stickers
And we gave
and
him
cars,
something.
and we're giving him a poker chip. That's the turnaround. Well, no.
We don't know what that could be worth.
you know what,
in
guys?
5 years from now.
I do want to mention I had this shirt made up, and we're going to get the guest to sign it. It's got the show's logo on here. Mr. Geraldo, would you be the first signature? This is not going up for sale or anything like that. This will be a Diecast Media Network treasure that we'll put in the
we
memory
gotta
closet.
frame. We gotta
one day.
frame that thing.
We will frame it.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to wear it.
Don't
but
wear it. Don't work